welcome to Cooking with Miss O. Let's join Mary Beth Oxendine in the kitchen as she teaches you how to cook Southern style healthy.
Welcome to Cooking with Miss O. Today we're going to do another meal, and this one is focusing mostly on vegetables. And with summer and spring now in the air and coming up, this was one of the favorite meals that we like to have. And this is a meatless meal. This is also a $5 meal for a family of 4. That's not $5 for one person. That's $5 for the whole meal for a family. And what we're going to be doing is, I've got my yellow squash here, and I'm going to be cutting that up, and we've already washed that. And then my cucumbers, my tomatoes, and the other thing we're doing too is I made dinner rolls with my whole wheat bread, and I have pinto beans in the crock pot. If you use dry pinto beans, it is so inexpensive, but it's so healthy. A lot of people don't know, but a serving of pinto beans, dry pinto beans, is 22 grams of protein. So that's as much or more than a piece of chicken or a piece of hamburger or whatever like that. And this is very easy. If it's hot and you're tired and you've come home from a long day, I've never had kids not like this meal. And it fills you up. You're thinking, oh, my guys won't be filled up. My husband and Josh were both big eaters, and this always filled them up. And one thing you can add to it for the end of the dinner, we would go and sit on the porch after dinner a lot of times when the weather was nice. Tom loved the porch, and so did I, so the kids learned to love it too. And what we would do is just fresh fruit. So any fresh fruit that's in season, but you want to wait till about 30 minutes after you've eaten before you eat the fruit so you won't have indigestion. Or you can eat it first, and it's 15 minutes before a meal. Because fruit digests much faster than the vegetables and the beans and the bread. So that's why we get indigestion from that. Europeans always, well, the Europeans that I know were related to, they always ate their fruit at a different time than anything else. It was always by itself. Now we Southerners, when we had a family, Bob and Marion and their sons over for, they were here for 2 weeks. Several times they came, and they had never had fruit with a meal. Now you can take the peel off. I washed this real good, so you don't have to at all. And I like to get down to where it has like this. And I am going to do it like this. That makes it a little easier. I just cut it in very thin slices. The peel has a lot of nutrition in it, and so you really don't want to cut all that out. Now, you can do an olive oil and vinegar with a little bit of water. You do the same amount of olive oil and vinegar, and I've always taught you to use the good seasonings, but my grandmother had her own homemade dressing, and it was just however many teaspoons you needed. It was usually a tablespoon of vinegar and a tablespoon of olive oil, and then a tablespoon of water. And you mix those three, you just pour it on the salad, then mix the salad up. And we're going to do that here in just a minute. I wanted to get this all cut up and then start my squash. So this is a wonderfully healthy meal. Each one of these vegetables are very important for nutrition. Now, as I've taught you before, let me go here with this. I was going to tell you about different things. There are 3 top things that keep you from getting cancer. And the last time we had whole wheat, which is the second one. The third one that's most important for keeping you from getting cancer and helping you after you've had cancer from getting it again is squash, any kind of squash. But my favorite is the yellow squash. I also love acorn, and I love other squashes, but this one is my favorite, and I love it with the pinto beans and the salad and the rolls. Now, you can have as much of any of these things your kids can. They can eat as many servings of this. Tom was an economist, so he really liked meals that were like this because they were inexpensive. And we all liked them too. So it takes a while to get your family used to them. You can also do cornbread with it. And when I do another one of these meals, I will do cornbread for you. Now with the squash, we're going to saute it with a little bit of onion. In my store right now, because it's early spring, the only onion I can get that is from America is the white onion. And so I get that. I always check to see. Then as it gets a little bit further into spring, I'll be able to get Valdez from Georgia, which is my favorite onion. It has wonderful flavor. But this is a great, not too strong one. If you use a regular yellow onion, it's too strong for salads. It's too strong unless it's cooked down and stuff. So that's why I don't do that. We're going to use this new fabulous pan I used in my last show that I found at Walmart, and it's supposed to be a green pan, and it is the best cooking pan I think I've ever cooked out of. Stainless steel, sometimes it's hard when you're sauteing and doing stuff because it sticks, or when you're doing pancakes and all. It also has the most even heat, and even after I had taken it off the eye the last time, the heat was still in that pan. And when I put water on it to cool it down, it bubbled up as if it was still hot. So I've never seen a pan like that. I really love it. I got it at Walmart. Let me tell you how it looks on the inside so you could look for one. I use stainless steel all the time in practically everything, but some things it's just easier to do something that has a nonstick surface, especially if you're cooking with kids, because sometimes the pans stick so bad it's frustrating to kids. Now what we're going to do here is take a little bit of onion. I am learning so much about how, and I have been learning that as I've told you our story, how much food can extend our good health. I do believe, I'm not sure we can extend life, but because of that verse that God gave me after Tom died, was to live healthy until the day he takes us home. And also the verse that says that he has our days numbered before we're even born. But I would rather be healthy until the day God takes me home. So I would like to show y'all how we do it in our family, and so that it would be that way for y'all too. So many autoimmune diseases I'm learning that they're caused by a lack of nutrition. So what I'm trying to teach you to do is eat live foods. Always remember when you go in the grocery store, is this a dead food or if this is a live food? Most everything in your boxes is dead food. So if you're eating that for fun or whatever, we all do some of that. I understand that. But try to have your meals, especially most of your meals, with live foods. What I've always heard is the stuff around the walls of the grocery store are the things that are what you should be eating. But let me just warn you, the bakery in my store is around the wall, part of the wall. So we all love sweets. I especially love sweets. My kids love sweets. My husband loves sweets. And I love to make sweets. But if you're not using a healthy flour in that, like I use the whole wheat and all, then it isn't good for you. But all the sugar is not good for us either. Now this is called a bulb of garlic. I'm just going to use 1 clove and a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of olive oil, the onion and the squash. Now, when it sometimes it's easier. Let me get one of these out. And I'm going to put this in here. This is from Pampered Chef. My daughter gave it to me one year for Christmas. She'd put it in my stocking. And that's one of my favorite tools because garlic stinks. Now see, I've got the whole wrapper on that clove there. I haven't peeled all that off, so all that, my hand doesn't smell at all like garlic. Then I just put it in here, and then I can just press it. And I don't want to press it just yet till we get the pan heated with the olive oil. And I think we're about ready to go to a commercial break. I'll see you in just a minute. Thank you. Welcome back, y'all. We're ready to saute our onions and our squash, and we're going to do our garlic. I've just put a little bit of the olive oil in there. You don't want to get it too hot. I was just telling them that one time we kind of got some olive oil too hot and white smoke was coming out all our windows. So you got to be careful with that because olive oil cannot take a high heat at all. Now what we're going to do is first we're going to do our garlic in there so it'll brown up just a little bit. Take my knife and scrape that off. There was a little thing, if you get a Pampered Chef one, that was a little plastic thing that you would scrape it off with, but I threw that out because I didn't know what it was. And I should have never done that. So I have to use something else to do it. Now we're going to put that onion in. Now, the next thing I wanted to tell you is that I will keep telling you about things. Cancer is just so prevalent right now with everybody. I mean, I've had a neighbor to die of it, and my father-in-law died from cancer, and my sister now has cancer. And when I found out it was the whole wheat flour and then the squash, these are two things that I really love. And get it a little bit so that the onion is in that. Then we're just going to put this on here. And I don't know if you watched the last show, but I found this at Walmart when I found that pan for the new set because we've just done the set over here. The boys here, the young men, I just call them boys because they're the age of my children. And I had to buy some new stuff for in here. So I got this, this squash that I didn't cut thin enough. I got this, and I absolutely love both of them. And now I'm going to buy me one of both of these because I really like it. And we'll cut some more of that. We have crock pots in the, now let me tell you, in the cookbook, in my cookbook right there, you can find the recipe under the dinner section of the doing pinto beans or any dry beans in your crock pot. And all you do is do it with a little bit, maybe a teaspoon of olive oil. And you could do it in your crock pot, and then you can put it on in the morning before you go to work. And doing this salad that I'm doing here and this squash, you can do that so quickly when you get home. So let me go ahead and show you about I just sprinkle a little bit of salt, sea salt on this. You can do, since I've got garlic. And then, I'm going to get some more of this going, and then I'll do the salad dressing. I'm doing the homemade salad dressing that my grandmother used to use on everything. Her potato salad, her any kind of salad, her tomato salad, and the tomato salad is the one she used to do for us all the time. She did red potatoes with this kind of dressing, and she would do celery and all like that. And I didn't even realize it, but the way we ate with her was so nutritious. I had never had indigestion before in my life. And so when I married Tom, and we were eating some of his mom's southern chicken and dumplings, the dumplings were absolutely out of this world. Her chicken was out of this world. Turned out to be my favorite dish of all time. And she showed me how to cook it. But I came out to Tom after eating it, and I said, he had told me, don't eat so many dumplings. Don't eat so many dumplings. I didn't know why. And I said, Tom, I believe I'm having a heart attack. And he said, no, Mary, you just need something called roulades. Go ask Mom for some roulades. It's too many dumplings. So that was the first time I ever knew about Tums or roulades or anything like that, because with the way we cooked with the olive oil and with the vinegar and did the food fresh like this, I never had any indigestion. So when Marie was so sick and we had to change the food, I took the European part from my grandmother and then put it with the southern part, and that's how I've come up with healthy southern food. And with an economics husband, that's how I came up with the economical side to it. Now the wonderful thing about teaching your kids to cook and having them in the kitchen with you, even if you've worked all day, because I used to teach, I understand all that. I started my son cooking at 18 months. He would sit on the counter and cut out biscuits with me. And he is a fabulous cook right now. And when Tom died, my daughter took over the kitchen, and she used to bribe her girlfriends to cook with me in the evenings, dinner, so she could go out and play ball and ride her bike and stuff. And that little girl who cooked with me, she now finished Clemson in a food major, and Mandy. And then my daughter, I thought she hadn't learned anything from me because she kept bribing everybody to go be in the kitchen with me. So she actually is an excellent cook for her new husband. And I just, I really tell you that it's really a blessing, because when I didn't feel like I could cook for myself for a while, it was wonderful because my kids jumped in and fed me and cooked for me. So I always give them chores, because when Tom died and they were at the house and everything, Marie was still living there. Now I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of the oil. I think with this small spoon I'll do 3. Okay. Then I'm going to do, and you have to do this kind of vinegar. This has the mother in it. This is the vinegar you want. This is the healthy vinegar that helps your heart. This is the vinegar that helps everything. And it's Bragg's Organic Apple Cider Vinegar. You can just drink it by itself, a teaspoon, and it will help. And I do 3 of those. And then I do 3 of water. Put a little salt in here. And this is all she did. And that's what we had. And Mom would do the good seasonings on it. And then it's a wonderful dressing. The reason you put the water in is because oil and vinegar don't mix. And that helps it mix. And I've got to get the water here to do that. I don't want to turn this up too high. This is the first time I've sauteed anything in here. Let me get a little bit of water for our salad dressing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And you can have a lot more than that. Now, people that are single, I found out I have a lot of singles watching. I'm from the Clemson area. So I have girls, guys, widowers, single people, widows. We can do simple meals like this, and then it's healthy, and we can stay healthy. It's real hard when you're alone to eat right. And so I do real simple meals like this, or I do freezer meals, which I'm going to do for you in another show. Here we go. Now, I'm going to stop with this right now and move this out of the way. I'll push this back a little bit. I think. You know, Rachel Ray does a wonderful thing of having, and I need to do that too. I do that at home. And I learned it from her, where you put your stuff like that in a bowl, and then it's easier to throw it out. Now I'm going to rinse my hands real quick here, and we are going to get the rolls out. Now I'm going to tell you about the protein content of your meal here. You have 22 grams in a serving of pinto beans. You have 14 grams in a roll. Not counting all the minerals, the vitamins, and the enzymes. This is what's called live food. When you cook the wheat and the pinto beans, it doesn't lose its nutrition. Tomatoes, they have special nutrition when they're raw, and they have a totally different nutrition when they're cooked. There are only 2 vegetables that I have learned of that are like that, and that's carrots and tomatoes. So some people don't like raw tomatoes and they eat the other, then they get good nutrition that way too. It's just different than when it's raw. This is starting to brown. And the wonderful thing about this pan, I don't have to use a plastic one for that. Now these have, what I do with these, I take my knife around it to get it out. And there's my dinner roll. You can heat it up. I don't use a microwave, so sometimes I'll heat it up in a little piece of tin foil. Then what I do, after everybody's got their rolls, I take them out and I put them in a freezer bag. And I can just put them in the freezer or in the refrigerator, and then all you have to do is just warm it and you've got dinner rolls. Let's see about this salad now. Now you can also in this salad put fresh parsley cut up, fresh chives cut up. My grandmother didn't do that, but I've done that. And I like all those things in there. I think we're just about ready here, y'all. Now, this meal, if you use dry beans and not canned beans, and you have your own bread, and you do it like this, because remember, all of the stuff I use like this, not the fresh stuff, is in my pantry, and you can find that out in the pantry. You need to keep your pantry stocked. I always go through my pantry once a month, at the end of the month, and I check to see what I'm low on, and that's what I get. Now, things like my grains and all, I have enough for a long time of that, especially now it's just me by myself. So, it's browning up nice. We're going to be right back and ready to eat. Thanks so much. Welcome back, y'all. Here's the meal. This is our salad. This is our squash. This is our pinto beans, and this is our bread. Some of the studies show that if you eat fresh garlic, like I have done here, and I put in a lot of food and stuff, then it can prevent prostate cancer. And that's so important too. Remember, this has 14 grams of protein, vitamins and minerals and nutrients there. The pinto beans, when you do them fresh, they also have 22 grams of protein. Your tomatoes also help against cancer. Your cucumbers do. Your yellow squash is number 3 food that in the line of the first 3 that keeps you from getting cancer, and if you've had cancer, and the garlic I used in that too, keeps you from cancer. I want to thank you so much. I'm going to pray right now over our meal. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this food. Bless it to the nourishment of our bodies, and anybody out there that tries this, bless them too. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings. Amen. Let me try this real quick. That is real good. The amazing thing, this pan doesn't seem to burn, y'all. Thanks so much. I'm hungry. See you later. Thanks. Bye.